Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Tiara Tuesday. I'm Borzolino, the current Miss North America 2025, and today we have two special guests lined up. So we will have them on and they can introduce themselves, and we will get right into Tiara Tuesday.
I on? Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Of course, of course. Thanks so much for joining. We are excited to learn all about you. Let's start off with your title.
So I am Marisol Lapierre and I am Miss Blossom 2026.
And if you haven't noticed, she is from Quebec and I'm from Ontario. So we are both Canadian queens. We can call it that. But of course, for those of you that don't know, I know a lot of our audience is from the United States. Their second language is Spanish. Here in Canada is French. So a round of applause for being bilingual.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's start off with learning a little bit about your pageant. Tell me when you had originally competed and give me the breakdown as to how the competition was. I know it was a virtual pageant, so please tell us a little bit about that and what inspired you to join.
So Miss Blossom is a virtual pageant, like you said, that was created by Joel Linderman. She is presently Mrs. Personality Canada 2025. And we've been knowing each other as pageant sisters since 2020. And when she decided to do her pageant, to do it, in fact, it was a fundraiser pageant. I decided to join it so I could promote it with her because I mean, she's been doing an amazing year as Mrs. Personality Canada, and I just wanted to support her. And this is why I decided to compete. And also, it was a very good practice for me because I was going to compete as a finalist for Miss Canada 2026 a few months later. And so I thought, why not? And I decided to join in December 2025. The pageant was in February 2026. And then a week later, I've learned that I was winning the first ever title of Miss Blossom 2026, which is also my first title that I ever won.
Wow, congratulations. That is amazing. I love to hear that it's a fundraiser. Now, was it a fundraiser for a certain cause or was Jewel fundraising for the pageant that she was going to be competing in, which is the personality pageants?
She was fundraising for the personality pageant.
That's amazing. So I know that you advocate for women in STEM. For those that don't know, I also advocate for women in STEM as I work as a construction inspector and I graduated from civil engineering technology. So tell me a little bit about what inspired you to advocate for women in STEM and what role you play as a woman in that field.
So in the STEM environment, I am in the science one. I am a microbiologist. I did my undergrad in microbiology. I finished it in 2023. And now I'm finishing my master right now. I need to submit my thesis in the next 3 weeks. I'm doing my master in veterinary science. So I'm still a microbiologist, but I'm working more in the veterinarian field because I always dream about going into veterinary in general, but I was never accepted because of my grades. We need A plus here in Quebec to be accepted in veterinary school, and I have A minus. Boo hoo hoo. As if that was like a bad grade. And so I just decided to go in my way in veterinarian school, just using the back door, if you wish. So rather than becoming a veterinarian, I will be a researcher working in a lab for veterinarians to help them to understand how medication works, how bacteria, parasites work. So I'm their backstage leader, if you want. And so when I decided to start my master, I understood very, very fast that we still need to work to make space for women in STEM in general. It is true in Canada, it's true in other many countries because most of the time we will associate the STEM profile with women who are maybe more masculine. Um, you are supposed to always be wearing like pants and shirts. You don't really have space to express yourself, and people don't expect you to do anything else other than working in STEM. And I've been doing pageants since 2014 when I was a teenager. I did the Miss Teen Canada 2015 at the time. And so it was really like not really positively perceived the fact that I like wearing dresses or I like to do eyelashes. Well, I do not think that this is something that affect my capacity of being in STEM, but it was still something that was being underlined, and I didn't see the value in this. So I decided to fight against it rather than changing who I am. I decided to speak up for myself and for my friends that were around me that were living the same kind of experience, that we were always being overlooked because we're a woman, or sometimes people were focusing too much on our look rather than what we had to say. And so in November 2025, with the help of my amazing lab director, Christopher Fernandez Prada, I decided, he supported it, to start a podcast. It's in French, called Balado hors labo. To translate the title, it's Outside the Lab Podcast. And so the goal of this podcast is to be able to give the voice of other students in STEM, but also professional in STEM, who are all women from different fields. So you can be working with bacteria in environment, with virus, with parasites. You can be working in the ocean with animals. It does not matter. You have something to say. And so the podcast mainly vulgarize science, so it makes it more accessible for everyone, because the general public usually think that people in STEM, we are highly intelligent or highly rich, which is not the case of most people, actually. It's more accessible than when you think. When you're passionate about it, you can go for it. And it was being able to give a voice to women in STEM, give the science back to the community, and give science an impact outside the lab. And so this is what I'm doing now since November 2026.
Yeah, I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. I agree that it's almost frowned upon when people find out that we do something outside of, in your case, the lab. For myself, it's outside of a construction site, and they're always surprised to hear that that it's pageantry, that's my hobby. So I can totally resonate with what you're saying, and I find it very inspiring because there's really not a lot of women in STEM as a whole. So to find pageant sisters that are advocating for the same thing, it's close to home for myself. So I really truly admire you, and I appreciate your efforts. And also, that makes me think. So I know you're interested in veterinary. You wanted to be a vet, and you're a horseback rider. So I know,
am.
and horses are clearly one of them. So tell me a bit about your interest in horseback riding. Do you have a favorite animal? Does it happen to be a horse, or is it just kind of all around love for all animals?
Oh my God, I cannot have just one favorite animals. It's impossible for me. I grew up with cats, so I have like a little favor for them. I'm also a foster home for small mammals right now. I have a bunny at home that is looking for a new home. If ever someone is looking for an amazing, cute bunny, 7 months, his name is Noah, and I love to call him my Mr. Stomp. He's adorable. And I started to grow up around horses. I was about 10 years old. It was really random. We passed by a ranch, a barn on the road, and I was really interested in them. And then my mother decided to register me for summer camp at the ranch, and then I never stopped to do horseback riding since then. And yes, totally fall in love with horses. For me, even a cow could be my pet. I love them. I think they're so cute.
You're like a
And
princess. How they always have their animal best friend companion.
yes, exactly. So I could never live without an animal, regardless which species it is. I love all of them. And if I was to be a vet, actually I would be working for like like a zoo, like exotics animal. I don't think I would go towards like general clinic, because I really just want to be around all animals, not just cat and dogs.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that completely. I have three cats myself and two dogs, and if I could have like a tiger or something, I would. But I don't think there's enough room in my house for that.
Oh,
But
it's just a little baby,
just
like
a baby, it's just a baby. So
just
um,
a baby.
I know that you also said that you have always wanted to do multiple jobs. So aside from being a vet, what are some of the other jobs that you have aspired to do?
I've always been told that I was a little bit crazy, and I always answered that I'm just the right level of craziness. When I finished high school, I vividly remind myself that I said that I was going to be a vet, but also a physiotherapist, and also be training horses, and also being a pageant queen. I was like, I'm going to do it all. People were saying, like, you need to choose one, and I was like, who said that? So
Mhm.
even as today, yes, I'm doing my master. I'm going to start my PhD in September in veterinary science. But if I'm accepted in vet school, I will do both. People are like, you need to choose one. And I'm like, no, I do not. I can do more than one job. So I don't know why I always had that needs of doing one than more thing. Even when I was little, I was doing dance, soccer, and horseback riding. I was never doing only one sport. And I think it's a luxury that I had that I'm very grateful for. And this is just how I live my life. I don't define myself to be in only one box. I love to do it all. I'm not going to do only pageants or only in STEM. I love to combine my worlds.
Yeah, of course. And you know what? Life is so short that I feel like you really do need to try everything, or as many things as you can at least once. And you never know what type of hobby you might pick up. Like, to think about it, we at one point started pageantry and it was brand new to us. So, and look where it led us today, right? So, had we would have never picked up that hobby, we would have never seen where it would bring us now. Now, aside from your love of animals, you also have a love for plants. And crazy enough, you said that they all have a name. So I thought that I was strange by giving my one cat, he has this really long name. I think he has like 8 names in one name, but of course we just call him Bianco for short. I thought I was nuts, but now I'm hearing that you have named all your plants. So,
Are you saying that I am nuts?
but I like crazy because I'm a little crazy too. But
Yes.
crazy, the passionate type. So, tell me, what inspires you to name your plants? I can't believe I'm even asking this question right now, but I've heard that if you give plants love and you talk to them, they grow better. So maybe that's going to help their growth.
I think that I'm just someone who's passionate about life, and I do have a lot of love to give. And I guess I'm passionate about my plants. I think that I saw this one time on the internet that nowadays the animals, the pets are the babies, and the plants are the new pets. And maybe my brain did something there. I don't know. I have now about 10 plants, I believe, and I all named them just like on the spot. I was like, this is her personality. So this one is Billie, like Billie Eilish, because she's spiky. Like I'm having fun with it. You asked me for 10 fun facts, and I was like, I guess this is one fun fact about me. I All my plants have names.
Yeah, that's definitely very unique. I can't say that I've ever met anybody that has named their plants before. So maybe someone in the comments can say if they have or they haven't, but I personally haven't. So when I read that, I was like, oh, okay, interesting, interesting. But yeah, again, life is short. So do what makes you happy. And if it feels right, then go ahead, go ahead. Now, you've been with your husband for 12 years. Congratulations. That
Thank you.
accomplishment. It shows a lot of commitment. It shows that you guys are able to communicate and compromise, and having a relationship in general is not easy. So I really admire you for you and your husband being together already for 12 years, and you're quite young. So that's definitely something that's admirable. So when did you guys first meet, and how did you know that he was the one?
Oh my goodness. Okay. We are high school lovers. So we've met, I was 15, he was 17. We were friends for a year. So even a year before that. So we met actually, I was 14. And both of us were in relationship with other people. And then at some point we were both single at the same time. And I just thought it was very cute. And actually I kind of tricked him to sleep at my house at some point because it was just coming to like chill out at the house of my parents. And then he needed to take the bus to go back to his place. And I knew he was looking at the clock in my room, and I knew that my clock was not updated. And I just decided to not tell him that the clock was wrong. And so he missed his bus. And so he needed to stay over that night. And this is the night that we kissed. And
Oh,
so we've been together since then. I never leave anything to like random life things that might happen. Like when I want something and I know that I want it, I just do some little tricks sometimes so it makes it happen. And I guess I was right because now we've been married for 2 years. We got married 2 years ago to celebrate our 10 years. We were like, at this point, let's just make a big party about it. And how I knew he was the one, when we started to date together, I was coming back from a very, very bad relationship, unfortunately, which is just to tell you how bad the relationship was. This man did not want me to do pageant. And I was like, you know what? You're not going to tell me what to do. And I dumped him and I did the Miss in Quebec.
Yeah, no, and you know what? Like you said, you don't leave anything by chance. You're a go-getter, clearly. But now I'm curious. After 12 years being together, you have told him about the clock story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because if you didn't, he would probably find out today, and that would be quite the plot twist for both of you.
No, no, he's been in the known for a couple of years, and we talked about it during the wedding ceremony because we thought it was very funny that I tricked the man.
Well, I am sure he can forgive you because it all worked out in the end, and it was all in good intention. So you know what? It's okay. Sometimes you need to work a little bit of magic to get what you want. So yeah,
Exactly. And then we just decided that we want to choose each other for the rest of our life. We went through ups and downs, but we were always coming back to each other. We always trusted each other, always respected each other. And we decided that it was enough for us, that now we're just choosing to love each other. Like even in bad days, when we have challenges, when things are not going our ways, we just decided to be a team. And I think that's honestly what will bring you strong in your relationship in the long term, when you reach that point that you just choose to stay. As long as communication and respect is there, you have everything you need.
yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and it has to be mutual. And it's like you said, it's not going to be easy. You've gone through your own ups and downs, as has everybody, and that's not just in romantic relationships, but friendships, work life. So everybody goes through ups and downs, and it really what matters is how you navigate through them, and you weigh out like the pros and cons, and does this really matter to you? And if so, then you have to make an effort to keep it going, just like pageantry, right? You go through in pageantry as well. So it's really important to remember the reason why you started, and to not let certain moments impact what your whole journey is going to look like. Right.
Yeah.
So congratulations for being happily married now for 12 years. I'm very inspired by that. So yes, congratulations. It's not something easy. So you said that your friends are like your family. I can
Yeah.
tell, and your pets are like your babies, and your plants are like your pets. So I think I'm starting to get it. I think I'm starting to get it all. So now something that I thought was really interesting is you said that some people are scared of you, but really you're just like you said that quote for quote, you said, but I cry very easily. So what I get from that is that you're just very sensitive. You feel all the feels. What is your zodiac sign?
I'm an Airy.
An Aries. Okay, so I don't know,
Yeah.
are typically considered emotional beings. I'm a Pisces, and I've heard that Pisces are very emotional. And I can sense it in myself too. I feel everybody's feelings around me. I'm always the first person to say something if I feel like something is off, or, someone is unhappy. I'm always the first person to say something. And a lot of the times it's not so rewarding, but I know that it comes from a good place. So when I read that, I was like, "Oh, you must be a sensitive being just like me." So please tell me, what do you mean they're scared of you, but they always cry? I know for anyone that is watching, you are very tall, so
Yes.
the intimidation factor maybe. So how tall are you again? Remind me.
I am 6'1", and I've been 6'1" since I am 13 years old.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yes.
That is incredible. What did you eat growing up? Because I need to eat so much. Maybe there's still time for me to grow a little taller.
I need to be very clear with everyone watching right now. Don't let your kids listening to this, but no, I was not eating my vegetables, and no, I was not eating my grass. It
Wow,
does not work like this.
life has been a lie. My whole life.
It's been a lie the whole time. And it was really funny because I've been told my whole life, and when I was growing up, and the parents were using the eat all your vegetable, you're gonna be small. And I was like, nope, it's not.
Okay,
I'm tall.
about that. So,
Yeah.
do you find that that is one of the factors that people maybe they find you intimidating, or is it more like a personality trait where you're so strong and like strong headed that maybe people are intimidated by that, but really you're just a big softie on the inside?
I am a very big softie. I cry during the movies all the time. And some people have a bad vibe of me the first time because I'm actually very shy with people that I don't know. So when you mix the leadership, very tall person, looks like a model, walks like a model, but doesn't really talk with you a lot because she's shy, people are very intimidated. Sometimes they think I hate them the first time we meet. And then after like an hour or two just being together, I'm a little bit more loose. And then they see that I am actually like super friendly, and I laugh very loudly, and I cry very easily about like anything. Never make me watch a movie where the animal dies. I'm gonna stop crying. for at least 5 minutes. And my husband knows it. Every time there's an animal dying in the movie, he just hands the tissue because it's coming.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Especially with you being in the veterinary field, I can imagine how sensitive you are to that. But even myself, if I see a movie, like if I see it's going in that direction, I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Tell me it ends in a good way because I can't do it. I can't do
You
it.
know it's coming. You know it's coming anyway.
Oh no. Oh, that's funny. So, one of the last fun facts that you submitted here, you said, I never let myself be comfortable. So, when you say that, do you mean that you love to step outside your comfort zone? Like you like trying new things and challenging yourself? Is that what you meant by that?
Absolutely. For me, it's the best way to grow and to learn. I've been in academia for the whole my life, actually, for now. And I still have for another 5 years. And the best way that I found to actually learn is to get outside your comfort zone. And when you get comfortable with this new thing, find a new thing. It could be absolutely anything. It could be a new hobby. It could be to start showing up in your community. And then, like, if I take, for example, my podcast, that was a step to like get out of my comfort zone. The comfort zone was the lab. I was like, okay, we need to get out of the lab and do something because I'm getting bored of doing the same thing. So I created the podcast. After that, I was like, okay, that's comfortable. I'm going to have guests coming in. And then I'm going to invite very important guests. And then I'm going to do an episode live in front of a public. And then I will like host a symposium. So it's every time just trying to find that next step that will allow me to grow and learn more.
Yeah, for sure. And I always say that nothing's going to change unless something changes. So there you have it. You're always incorporating something new. So once you have raised the bar and that is no longer outside of your comfort zone, you create a new uncomfortable position to grow from it. And I think that that is fantastic advice. And that's I always say that too when whenever I'm doing public speaking and I'm speaking to really any age group, but especially the youth because they're so impressionable. I remind them that you really need to step outside your comfort zone. Take every opportunity life brings because you never really know where it's going to lead. And you truly, it sounds easier said than done, but you truly cannot have regrets because even the smallest decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis change the way your whole day looks, which can change the way your whole week looks, which can change the way your whole life looks. And it sounds insane, but it's true. So
Yes.
sit down and think about it. Yeah, no, thank you so much for being a guest today. Again, if anybody wants to listen to your podcast, how can we find that? Is it on Spotify or on
It
YouTube?
is everywhere. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Amazon Music. You can find it anywhere. And if you go directly on my Instagram account, there's a link where you can also just go online. You don't need necessarily the application, the app, and you can watch it. I have now just released the 16 episodes, which was the episode that I recorded live last week. And if you only speak in English, I do have 2 episodes in English. So if you see the title in English, you know that this one is not in French.
Exactly. And if you guys are liking what you see, be sure to support those English episodes, and maybe that will encourage you to post or promote and post new English episodes. So, yeah, for everyone watching, thank you so much. And thanks so much for being a guest on today's Tiara Tuesday.
Thank you so much. I wish you an amazing evening.
Okay, everyone. I believe we are waiting in for our second guest. I'm not sure if she is on the line. So let's just give her a moment.
Hi, Ashley. I'm online, but I'm having trouble turning my camera on, so I'm just figuring that out.
Okay, take your time. I will chat at the camera until you are ready with yours.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Do you know how to do this?
Screen. You should see. Are you on a mobile device?
I'm on my Mac.
Okay, I'm not too sure. On a mobile device, it's at the bottom of the screen, and you do have to camera just like where the microphone is for the.
Let me just give me like a second.
Yeah, no problem at all. So once Charmy has her camera on, she will obviously introduce herself. But I actually met her at a Woman of Worth event. So that was I think it was one of the first, if not the first, that I had as Miss Ontario North America. So just before the actual competition in Orlando, Florida. What the Woman of Worth event is it's like a group of women that get together and we talk about different types of life struggles that we may have, and it's really just like a fun girl group where you can decompress and just chat and have a good time. And they do a fantastic job. We have quarterly events. So yeah, I met Charmy over there, and yeah, it was really great. She had given us a speech, which I'm sure she will talk about when she is ready. Um, but yeah, it was the first outing that I had at a North America contestant. So that was really fun for me. So then after I won, I knew that I was going to make it a point to be sure to go to the next Woman of Worth event. So that way I can thank them for their support when I was a contestant, and I am the current title holder. So that was really fun for me. So Charmy, I see you're still having some difficulty.
I'm gonna just try on my phone. I'm just gonna join from my phone.
Yeah, it shows there's no camera available for you, no device available. So if you want to try from your phone, that would be great. Or if you just go out and come back in and allow the video, that might
Perfect. I'll be back, guys.
Perfect. And for anyone that is not sure where that beautiful voice is coming from, that is Britt, our director, who is behind the scenes and makes Tiara Tuesday happen every week. She is a little whiz. She's a little magician behind the scenes, and she is what's the word? Like a producer. She's like the producer for Tiara.
I'm the backstage. So what do you want to talk about while she goes out and comes back in?
I don't know. How was your day? Did you guys get any rain where you are? I know I'm talking about the weather. People are watching like, are they really talking about the weather right now? I am. I've been having some issues on my construction sites due to the weather. So today was our first rain day. So how has the weather been where you are?
Well, the weather it's been interesting. So there was a small tornado that went through Michigan. And so for those of you that don't know, I'm a flight attendant and I travel a lot. And right now, whenever I'm producing Tiara Tuesdays, I'm in a different city. So thank God hotels have really great Wi-Fi these days. So I actually just got stuck in South Dakota for a half the day. Oh, she's there and she's back. And I'm going to assign her the scenes. Hold on one second while I talk. But yeah, I was stuck there and just barely made it back into Minneapolis to be able to be on Tiara Tuesdays. So we're going to turn you back to you and your guest. Here she is.
Hello.
How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much. I love is it a coat? I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it is a coat. It's a fur coat.
That's really fun. I like that.
Thank
So
you.
you introduce yourself. Please start off with your name and your title.
Of course. So, hello, everyone. My name is Charmy Brahmbhatt, and I'm currently Miss Toronto Regional Canada, and I will be competing at the Regional Canada pageants this August in Toronto.
Amazing. So, what inspired you to compete in this pageant? Have you competed in it before? So, tell me a little bit about that experience.
Yes, I have. So, Ashley, as you mentioned, that we did meet at the Woman of Worth event. And actually, at that time last year, I came to two of the events. So, I actually started my pageant journey last year. The first one was Miss Regional Canada, which is the one that I'm currently recompeting in. And I ended up as a third runner up last year. And then I did Miss Universe Canada and placed in the top 15 out of 70 delegates. However, this year I did decide to recompete at Miss Regional Canada, and this time I'm going all in.
Amazing. And you know what? I watched your performance live for the Miss Universe Canada, and top 15 is such a fantastic accomplishment. I think there was 80 contestants, 70 contestants
There were 70 plus contestants, yes.
between there, and I watched it live. That was in Windsor. So really fun. Was that my first time going to Windsor? I think so. Might have been my first time or my second. I can't recall. But yeah, it was such a great experience to actually see the competition live, and you did such a fantastic job. I remember you telling me that you were going to compete, and we were just chit chatting about that. So then to be able to watch you compete live, and I wasn't planning on attending either. So that was really a spontaneous decision for me. And at that point, I had already won the Miss North America title. So
I know. Congratulations. We have not spoken since then, but I am so, so, so happy for you, and you very well deserve it.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. But yeah, so we did meet at the Women of Worth event. And I remember you gave us a little bit of a speech, and that was about your advocacy. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of recap that moment and tell us a little bit about your pageant advocacy.
Of course. So, my advocacy is called A Future She Chooses. And it's a platform that empowers women through education, because I truly believe that the biggest form of empowerment and confidence, especially in a woman's life, is when she's educated, because education is really what helps one stand on their own 2 feet and choose the life path and the career that they want to choose. So that is exactly what my platform is about.
Yeah, and I know that one of your goals is ending generational trauma in families. So, uh,
Yes.
without going into too much detail, what inspired you to promote this and speak about this?
So, my parents actually named the family business after my brother, which just reinforces that sexist mindset that it's the men that runs the family's legacy. However, although I'm still very much a part of the business, I decided that I wanted to break that generational trauma for my current generation and the woman in the future. And so now I am working on creating my own identity. I'm pursuing my master's degree in counseling psychology, and I'm also pursuing my dreams in pageantry, in modeling, in dance. And then, of course, I have my platform, which is already empowering women to do the same.
Yeah, and I know you touched on dance. You said that you have earned distinctions for Indian classical dance.
Yeah.
So, how does this even work? When did you start? Tell me a little bit about your history with dance. Do you do any other type of dance, or is it strictly Indian classic type? So, tell me a bit about that. Seems fun.
So ever since I was a kid, my entire journey started through dance. I've always enjoyed Bollywood dance specifically. However, as I grew older, I realized that really the foundation of dance for me as an Indian girl was pursuing Indian classical dance. And so I started professionally learning Kathak. And the way that Kathak works is that there are 7 exams before you are fully qualified and you graduate. So I have completed 2 exams so far. And the reason why I also decided to do Kathak is because it allows me to celebrate my culture while challenging the traditional gender norms as well. Because Kathak is a dance of strength. And when I perform Kathak, I feel like I am showcasing my resistance to all of that sexism.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking that as you were explaining it to me, it really sounded like it aligns with your platform. And it's
Mhm.
so funny how that works out because it's really separate in its own way. But clearly, that is truly your passion because everything you do seems to touch on that. So that is fantastic to hear. I would love to see some of your dance videos, perhaps. Do you have any that are online and anybody can just go and watch?
I do. That's actually a really good point. I do want to start filming professional dance reels and posting it on my social media. I do have a couple snippets on my Instagram highlights, but that is something that I will work on.
Love to see that. It actually reminds me of my childhood, like a little fun story time. So I had a big fat tube TV in my room growing up, the old school ones. And I did not have cable upstairs. I can't even remember if we had cable in the house, to be honest with you, because we watched a lot of things on VHS and then later on DVD when that came out. But my big tube TV got a couple channels, even without the cable. It had a cartoon channel, the news, a Bollywood channel, and something else. And for whatever reason, I was so drawn to the Bollywood channel and I would have it on all the time. And my mom would come in and she would think, what is my little girl even watching right now? And I just loved it. Aside from like classic Bollywood stuff, they would have the Indian news and stuff. And I would be watching it. I don't know anything about I didn't know anything about that. I still don't know anything about that. Be watching it. And I was so like just interested and intrigued and drawn into that channel. So I don't know if it was the music or the rhythm, but I always loved Bollywood and Indian music. So yeah, that's super fun. And I'd love to see some of your performances if you would ever be willing to share that online.
For sure.
Else that you do outside of pageantry and dancing, which is another form of art, is modeling. Now, you said that you were rejected from modeling and you turned it into an opportunity. So what caused this rejection? Because you were such a beautiful young woman, and I think you have all the right qualities for a model. So what caused this rejection, and how did you navigate through those emotions and turn it into a good opportunity?
Well, so Ashley, I wanted to do modeling from a very young age. From when I was a teenager, I used to watch the Victoria's Secret fashion shows, and I think that's where it all started from. But you probably know that one of the main requirements, apart from being skinny and fit in the industry, is the height. And I am 5'4". So at 5'4", I was told that I was too short to model professionally. And so it's just something that I can kind of just play around with, maybe do some work here and there for free or some small things, but there's nothing that's really going to come out of it. And so I always struggled to get signed to a good agency. However, I decided that social media is one of our biggest assets. And so I started using social media to create my own opportunities instead of waiting for someone else's approval. And now I have experience in runway, in commercial, in editorial, and beauty modeling. So I've kind of created this own brand, and I'm continuing to do so. I'm not anywhere close to where I want to be, but I am proud to say that I have created these opportunities for myself, as I have also broken barriers.
Yeah, and I can understand why that would be so frustrating, because something like your height is not something that you can just, change over,
Control, exactly.
right? And I'm also 5'4", so we're twinning on that level, literally on that level. So I totally get what you mean, and I can understand why that would be really frustrating. But you discovered social media as an outlet, and you have been using it to, I think, its maximum advantage. So congratulations for not allowing that to discourage you, and still continuing to follow your dreams and to do things that are still within almost that modeling kind of setting. Because I do think that beauty pageants, they do have that component of elegance and beauty and all of that, but then it also incorporates being a role model as well. So yeah, I think that that's great that you didn't let that discourage you. Now, that you believe that education is the most powerful form of empowerment, and I also agree with you when I read that, because I think there's nothing more beautiful than a smart woman, and knowing her rights and standing up for them and just knowing what she's talking about. I think that that is so empowering on its own. So what has been your experience around that?
So Ashley, like it all honestly started with my mother's story. So, she was told that, again, like as I said, that she was just told that as a woman, her only purpose was to get married and raise a family. And she specifically sacrificed her education, which is something that she regretted now for her whole life. She feels like she doesn't have that confidence and resource to really have a career. And so now she's really spent majority of her life as a housewife, although that's not really what she wanted to do. And that's why I created my platform, A Future She Chooses, because I truly believe that education is what helps you create your own path. There's no other way around it. And I'm happy to say that in just a few months, I've launched the Letters of Hope campaign, which is something that you yourself and your mother was also part of. I also hosted a cultural charity event, and I've also hosted impactful workshops.
Amazing. Yeah, no, and your mom must be such a great supporter of what you stand for, because she
Mhm.
can relate to that as a woman who feels like potentially she missed out on that educational component of her life. So, and I can also relate to that, because my grandmother, sometimes she'll talk about how she didn't have the opportunity to go to school because it's just not something that was seen as an essential for a woman, and we are of Italian background. So that's really like a global issue. So it is something that we're overcoming slowly and surely, but it's with people like yourself that are advocating for us women. Now, I know you had touched on your letters and that movement that you had, and that was with the goal to make mental health support feel less lonely. So please tell me a little bit about that movement that you have been trying to spread awareness for.
So, the Letters of Hope campaign was something I started last year. And that's because I am currently pursuing my master's in counseling psychology. And as a future psychotherapist, my goal is to become a support system that I wished I had during my own struggles. I know what it's like to face self-doubt and feel alone on the journey. And so the Letters of Hope campaign was kind of my tribute to having a community come together to help each other out, because sometimes all we really need are kind words. All we really need is support, is community support. So I collected over 100 letters from the community in the GTA, and I submitted it all to the Canadian Mental Health Association for their patients and for the people that come in who are feeling low, so that they could pick up a letter and read it and hopefully get some strength and courage and kindness out of it.
Yeah, and I see here that you have said that you feel that success is about creating an impact for other people and in their lives as well. So,
Mhm.
I think we can all relate to mental health being a direct component to others' our well-being. Now, Charmy, you disappeared from my screen, so I'm not sure if you're still on the line or if that's just a me problem. But I want to make sure that I'm not talking to myself here because I do talk to myself sometimes, but it's not when I'm on live. It's on my own time. No, I'm just kidding. But Britt, do you see Charmy still on the line, or did that drop?
I still see her, but I don't hear anything coming from her, so she might have frozen for a moment.
Black on my end, so that's why I don't.
I'm gonna, Charmy, if you can hear us, can you pop out and go back in? I popped her out just so it would give her that notification, unless if she was frozen. Sorry, you guys were having such a great conversation. Here we go. Hold on, let's see if she's coming back.
Oh, it's my email.
There we go.
Let me know when it pops up on your end, just because for me, I just see a black screen.
Right. I don't see any, I don't see any kind of sound coming from her.
Do you see her, or?
No, I don't see her at all. So Charmy, we don't see you. Oh, there we go.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's okay. So, as we're speaking about mental health and all of that, I know that you believe and you feel that women of color are more susceptible to disempowerment. And what has created this type of idea in your head? Is it something that you've experienced firsthand, or that you've seen women like yourself, maybe of Indian background? Tell me a little bit about your thought process behind that and your experience, of course, if you're comfortable with sharing.
Yeah, so as a woman of color myself, I just believe that women of color and immigrant women in Canada often face heightened cultural expectations that prioritize the traditional gender norms, pressurizing women to put their family first and, do caregiving, fulfill caregiving roles above their personal and career ambitions. And so that is why I feel like that they are these cultural norms is what limits their ability to advocate for themselves and seek leadership roles, in which for my platform and for the advocacy that I do, I really do want to focus on them.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sure our viewers would have picked up on this already, but we're both from Canada, and Canada is considered to be a very multicultural country. But with that, we do see a lot of different nationalities, and we may see some sort of struggle. So although Canada as a whole is quite welcoming, there are probably still some gaps within the system. But it's important that we have people that are speaking up about this, because sometimes I always say sometimes common sense isn't always so common, and doesn't come from a malicious way, but just more so people that don't have to face it don't recognize it. So it's not always known unless something is said. So that's why I asked the question, and thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that that can be something that's a little bit more of a sensitive topic. Now, kind of switching gears a little bit, but still chatting about your Indian heritage. And so you do Indian dancing, Indian classic dancing, and you also said here that you are one of the only 10 dancers chosen to perform with Manpreet Tour in Toronto. I hope I said her correctly. So it's about that selection process, and I'm based on the name Manpreet. I believe it's also Indian related.
She's Punjabi, yes. Indian. So, as I said, that I've always been into Bollywood dancing, and Manpreet Tour is actually someone that I was watching. So she started posting online. She's a famous dance influencer, and she started posting when I was a teenager, and she would post dance reels. And now she's super popular. She has over 1 million followers on Instagram. And last year, I got an opportunity to perform with a professional in dance celebrity, which was such an exciting opportunity for me. And yeah, it was just kind of surreal, because when you're growing up watching someone and learning from someone, and then all of a sudden you have that opportunity to be selected to perform on one of their shows in Toronto, it's just exciting and it's special.
Wow, that is amazing. And to be selected of one of the only 10 dancers,
Yes.
yeah, that is definitely something to celebrate and something to be proud of.
Mhm.
So get on it with those videos, because now I am super intrigued. Love to
Yes, coming soon for sure.
stay tuned. So it says here also, we talked about your application towards Miss Universe Canada and how you had placed in the top 15. What do you find was the biggest difference between Regional Canada and Miss Universe Canada? And what has Miss Universe Canada taught you, prepared you for your next upcoming pageant?
Well, it's very different. It's completely different. Miss Regional Canada is very different, and it has its own qualities. And Miss Universe Canada, as we all know, is one of the most competitive and most prestigious and biggest competitions in the country. So it was very different levels of preparation. One thing that I truly realized is that when one thing that Miss Universe Canada really taught me is that you just have to go all in. When I did Miss Universe Canada, I mean, pageantry really began for me last year. It's not like I was a veteran. I had only done a smaller pageant before I jumped right into the biggest pageant. And it was just, I just had to jump all in. I just had to, like, I was really scared, didn't really know what I was doing, didn't have the most amount of connections or anything. I've really learned things on the way. But I think that the reason why I was able to come out of that experience as a finalist in the top 15 was because I just had some faith in myself. I always had that faith that, okay, although I'm not on these pageant pages as the top favorites, although I'm not in anyone's predictions list. Although no one really knows me, I have to be there for myself. I have to introduce myself to the world the way that I know what my potential is. And that is a trait that I'm going to be taking in everything I do in my life.
Yeah, amazing. And I'm glad that you were able to have faith in yourself, have the courage, and step outside your comfort zone and give that pageant an opportunity, even though a lot of women may feel intimidated
Yeah.
when about it. But now that you're going into your next journey, what is one piece of advice that you can give everyone, and really to yourself too? Because sometimes we need to take our own advice.
100%. I think one thing that everyone says when I tell them I'm doing pageants is that they find it intimidating. Just like you said, they said it's just extremely scary to put yourself out there. And that's what pageants honestly require and force you to do, is completely put yourself out there. But I find it so liberating. I honestly do. And one of the biggest things is that you need to work on yourself. If you work on yourself, if you are making yourself even 1% better every single day, that's when you're going to acquire that confidence to go on that stage, to put yourself out there and hopefully make a change in other people's lives.
Amazing. Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for joining this week's Tiara Tuesday,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
of course. And to everybody watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in to another week of Tiara Tuesday. Be sure to tune in next week to watch our Ms. North America. Bye, everyone.